our third matchup here today on Championship Sunday about to be underway. It is our mixed doubles gold medal matchup. It's going to be a good one. We have J.W. Johnson, fresh off his gold medal in singles, along with partner Simone Jardim. They are undefeated so far through the mixed doubles bracket. They take on Austin Gridley and Susanna Barr, who had to battle their way back through the back draw, winning in the bronze medal match yesterday to get them back their spot here in the gold medal match. One final match will remain today, which is our men's pro doubles gold medal match coming up after this. But our players are warming up just a little bit here. Mike Baumgartner will be our head referee for this match. Isabel Gauthier will be our second referee.
Big Mike. Nobody messes with Big Mike.
We always love a Big Mike sighting here.
Yes.
Lauren McLaughlin and Dominic Catalano here in the booth. We are also streaming a second court with our senior pro singles action today, so definitely check that action out as well today. Let's take a quick gander first, though, at how our two teams fared through the bracket. As we mentioned, Jardim and Johnson coming through the upper half. They took out Lee Whitwell and DJ Young in their semifinal matchup, and then defeated Anna Bright and Dylan Frazier in the winner bracket final to secure their spot here in the gold medal match, while Susanna Barr and Austin Gridley had to defeat a powerhouse team of Andrea Koop and Zane Navertil in the back draw to get back into the bronze medal match to face Bright and Frazier.
And then it was a 3-hour.
That was
12-10.
That was
10,
a
12,
knockdown 11-8.
11-8.
That was a knockdown drag out bronze medal match, complete with some drama, some intensity, some yelling perhaps. So definitely go back and watch that one. It was a good one. So again, J.W. Johnson, the only one who's played here so far today. He is looking to secure himself a triple crown. He will be playing in the men's gold medal match next with partner Dylan Frazier. They take on Adam Stone and Deckel Barr. Any predictions of what we're about to see? Not necessarily the outcome, of course, but the particular style, perhaps, what one team is going to try to do versus the other?
So you really need to take into consideration that J.W. Johnson has actually played a match today. Yes, it was singles, but he's been on court. There's a feel aspect to getting on the court and getting a match under your belt, whether it's singles or doubles. He's been on court, so he's going to be a little more loose than everyone. He's played points out already. So he has that under his belt, let alone being the best player on the court. Okay, so now you have the best player on the court is already warm. So there's that to take into account. But it's a totally different game of what he played. So I think it's going to be a slower match. You're going to see Gridley and Susanna Barr be very methodical about keeping the ball to Jardim as much as possible and taking Johnson out of it. If they can do that, they have a chance to stay in here, okay? And they can win. They can come out on top. But it's got to be a precise game plan, and it has to be executed well. So we'll see what happens here, how they kind of attack this game plan-wise, but it's going to be fun. I see Susanna Barr is wearing and so is Austin Gridley are wearing Pickleball Club wristbands.
Oh, right, you just had to get that little
I had to get that little plug in there. Both of them. Susanna's wearing the green and Austin's wearing the blue. They came by the booth in Punta Gorda, and we're like, oh, these are awesome. I'm like, take them. They wore them in Punta Gorda, and then Austin came up to me this week. He's like, you have any more of those wristbands? He goes, I love them. I'm like, here you go, brother. I'm like, take a couple more. So
he's got a guy now.
He's got a guy for wristbands.
That's where she got her pickleball start.
All right, looks like Gridley and Barr will be on the near end here for game one, while Jardim and Johnson
From Fresno State.
on the
Via
far
Brazil.
end.
Her partner.
And it was interesting talking to Anna Bright sort of after the interview, and Navratil even mentioned it in the men's singles matchup when he was here doing some commentating with us, that the wind is playing the opposite of what it's been playing all weekend. So all the players have been used to that far end of the court playing more favorably, and now the wind conditions have totally changed here today, and it's now the near end that it looks like the players are wanting to be on. Nice cover from Johnson. Ooh.
Wow, what a gift from Jardim. I mean, she's not even
she was
looking.
Done. She wasn't even, she was like, nope, I can't get that.
It was a no-look backhand.
That
Gridley
was
had it set
unbelievable.
up. But here's the thing, is the wind is blowing in Gridley's face at that shot, so the ball kind of died on him. He didn't get everything on it he wanted to.
It looked like he tried to put a lot of topspin on it as well. And again, there's the wind to the back of Johnson and Jardim. Sails that ball a little long. Johnson's got to adjust, take a little something off that.
Great hands by Gridley, ready for that little sneak attack from Jardim. We're seeing the game plan come to fruition here that we talked about in the pregame. Susanna Barr going to Jardim.
Now she sails one long as well. Again, we mentioned J.W. Johnson, the only one that's played. He's already kind of shaken off any, you know, first match of the day jitters. Settled in.
Miss hit from Susanna Barr. And this is exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing the same exact kind of game plan that Gridley and Barr had against Frazier and Bright, trying to eliminate the male player out of this at the moment. Wow, what a lob. Yeah, that's just too good.
I mean, they just hung in there.
So think of it this way too. Jardim and Johnson are flipping up those lobs. What's happening is when Gridley and Susanna Barr are hitting those overheads, they're hitting them into the wind. So they're dying as they're getting there. So Jardim and Johnson were just waiting for the right time to move up.
Nice. She just stayed nice and low. Knew she popped that up a little high, left it short. She just stayed ready for that next one.
So Johnson just a little too aggressive. As the block from Gridley was coming, he was still moving forward. He needs to plant his feet and be ready for that. Nice communication, though. Jardim ducks. Johnson with the big forehand.
1-1-1. Second server.
And you're going to hear a lot of talking, especially out of Susanna Barr,
1-1-2.
one of the most vocal communicators on the scene.
Oh, the net lord doesn't get the bounce off the net. It's all Jardim. Look at that ball, it just dies.
Second server. One, one, two.
Good angle there from Susanna Barr. I was waiting for it. She loves that inside-out forehand. And what she was doing, too, was she wasn't just hitting flat forehands back to Jardim. She was going directly to her backhand, not allowing her to counter.
You can see Gridley and Barr are kind of mixing up their stack where they're going, whether or not the ladies are going straight up or not. While you're going to see Jardim almost exclusively on the right side of the court. Oh.
Yeah, the miscommunication, which is rare from Gridley and
I know.
Barr. Watch this. They both jump at it and then stop.
They thought they were going to hit each other.
No, we'll let it split us down the middle. Side out.
So now ladies straight up again. Simone, ooh, good pickup from Johnson.
Two good pickups. Wow, good hands from Susanna Barr right there. She gets into a squatted forehand block position.
Yeah, Jardim's thrown up a couple of those really short lobs trying to get it over Barr. Neither have worked so far.
Yeah, Susanna, a couple unforced errors here on the dink, which is a rarity.
And we're not seeing J.W. Johnson get too active yet. He's not crossing the middle too much. And I think we'll see him kind of continue to ramp that up a little as this match goes on.
Oh, nice hands from Gridley. He just throws his hands up going, I'll take the miss-hit block. It's fine. But yeah, I asked Susanna Barr and Austin Gridley that yesterday in the interview about what was the difference and why they would go straight up against Bright or have Susanna Barr cross court, and it was all a feel, how they felt at that moment. It wasn't a specific strategy, but it was all a feel.
You could hear Barr kind of yell out because she knew that was trouble.
2-2-2.
Yeah, they're really trying to go behind Johnson. They've got him several times.
2-2-1.
So they know that is open.
Oh, Jardim just couldn't get there. She was trying on a dead sprint to try and go ATP there. Oh. Jardim twice now off the tape like that and dropping over.
3-2-2.
The wind picked that up, sailed that wide.
4-2-2. Push off, foot fault, point.
So Gridley gets called for the foot fault on the push off.
Yeah.
Oh, clear as day.
Oh, that one misses as well, and a timeout immediately from Gridley and Barr after the foot fault call and then the missed shot wide. Gridley very obviously upset. Good timeout here. When you're that visibly frustrated, have a couple bad things go your way, definitely need to reset before it gets too out of hand. It's interesting. I feel like the push off foot fault, even at the pro level, that one they're maybe not as aware because you're coming in and then all of a sudden maybe a lob gets thrown up and you're not as aware of where the kitchen line is because you're not expecting a lob. So you go to push off, and again, it's when you're up at the kitchen line, dinking, hands battle, you're very conscious of where you are on that line. So I think that can be definitely tricky.
It's probably the most common foot fault called on pros because of just the reaction and the footwork for the overhead. So I'd say that's probably the most common foot fault.
I think too, again, the Ernies are probably second, I would say maybe. Because again, you're kind of looking for the Ernie, but you have to decide in the moment to go for it. And sometimes, you know, you can't think, okay, I got to make sure and put my foot here and my foot here and all of that. So I think, again, you're just more in the moment going for it, and that can lead to those faults.
Fifteen seconds. 16, one timeout remaining.
Right, Mike Baumgartner getting us back in from the timeout. J.W. Johnson serving 6-2-2 here in game one of this gold medal match. Good setup there from Jardim with the pull.
Seven, 2-2. Side out. 2-7-1.
That's tough right there. Susanna Barr really didn't have an attack on that Ernie. Ball's too far away for her really to do anything with. Flips it right up into the two-handed backhand of Jardim. Did you see? We were on a kitchen cam. That was the most emotion I've ever seen out of J.W. Johnson. He threw his hands up in the air like he couldn't believe that he missed that shot. But Simone almost got hit in the back of the head.
She decided kind of last minute to switch. Kind of shuffled her way over there almost into the ball.
Gridley has this here. It's a good read.
7-3-1.
Good spot. Yeah,
really great.
It's the Susanna Barr, that inside out again. And when she does that, ball starts swinging away and sliding away from you. You think it's coming flat at you.
Side out. 3-7-1.
Oh, and Barr gets handcuffed.
Right at that left shoulder. And the wind is gusting right now, so you can be sure that is playing a massive factor right now on court.
Nice leave. That's a tough leave, too. It pulls right at him, being Austin Gridley.
4-7-2. Side out. 7-4-1.
Oh, Jardim almost gets that.
7-4-2.
Wow, did you see the
Too good.
position she's in too? And watch how low Jardim is here. Here comes. Just stares it down. Both my knees would pop out of place.
Yeah, I'm behind my butt.
Oh, Johnson.
So good.
Yeah, and again, it's you. He makes you think he's gonna reset that because his body is leaning towards that way, and he just pulls it back.
Yeah, Gridley thought it was going down the line for sure.
9-4-2.
Ooh, and we have our second referee with the foot fault called the exact same. Oh, we were a little late on the replay. It was that left foot that pushed off. Just missed the beginning of it, but same fault as earlier for Gridley.
Wow, and Jardim
God.
and Johnson got 3 of those. The net lord is not going to be happy about that. So
It's not, her superpower is failing a little here today. So Johnson and Jardim take game 1, 11-4. We'll take a short break here on Championship Sunday at the Delray Beach Pickleball Open presented by Head Pickleball. Game number 2 in this gold medal match coming up right after this.
Turkey legs.
Back into the action here on Championship Court. We have one final gold medal match coming up after this, which will be our men's pro doubles. But first, we must crown a champion here in mixed. Simone Jardim and J.W. Johnson on the near end. 1 game under their belt already. Susanna Barr and Austin Gridley on the far end.
2 tape cords or let cords right there for Jardim and Johnson, but good adjustment on the first one from Gridley and the second one from Barr.
0-0-1.
Yeah, wind at their back right there. Barr got to take something off that.
0-0-2.
Oh, ball.
Ball
Thought it might be sneaking through. Looks like Rick Witskin is taking on, I can't tell in the hat. Over there in our senior pro singles on Championship Court 2.
Little sneak behind right there by Jardim, and Gridley's got to be ready for that.
0-0-1. Football.
Oh, the third one. Oh, that's tough.
1-0-1.
Just JW smiles right there, just coming in and cleaning up. Right after Jardim goes middle, Johnson counters. He was waiting for the right moment.
2-0-1. Second server.
Gridley almost with the miss hit for the put away.
2-0-2. Got it. 0-2-1.
Yeah, nice start.
Point. One, 2-1.
Got it.
Nice pull again from Jardim. Watch her just from right in the middle of her body pull that right at Susanna Barr.
1-2-2.
They're just
Good
feeling
hands.
it right now.
Two, 1-1.
Oh,
Good counter from Susanna Barr, getting Jardim out of position just a little bit.
2-1-2. Point. Three, 1-2.
Fine.
oh,
Good overhead there from Susanna Barr and good recognition. Only problem with this right now from Jardim is that wind. Watch that, wind just knocks that down because the wind's behind Gridley and Barr right now. As you can see right there.
yeah, she had to really stretch to get that.
1-3-2. Got out.
Definitely seen a couple players struggle with serves going long from that far end with the wind behind them.
Point.
Again, Jardim's done that 3 times now to Susanna Barr.
4-1-1. Point.
Timeout here from Gridley and Barr. 5-1 lead. Jardim and Johnson in command here of this second game, hoping to end this as quick as possible, not go to 3, and then don't have to use that game to 15 that they have in case.
Yep, looking to go undefeated through the mixed doubles bracket. Jardim really finding some success attacking Barr, that upper part of her body that we've seen her get a couple times. Barr and Gridley both struggling a little with the wind over there, sending some shots long.
Yeah, that was literally a timeout to just slow the momentum from Jardim and Johnson. Barr and Gridley didn't really have to say much to each other or do anything much. They just wanted to slow the momentum of Jardim and Johnson down. So we'll see what happens coming out of this timeout.
Have him leave the court, please. That's good. Have the volunteer leave the court, please. Thanks. Here, Glenn. Thank you.
So as I said, Simone Jardim and J.W. Johnson in control here, playing very confidently.
Time in. 5-1-1. Point.
Yeah, Johnson just beating big in the middle right there. Cleaning up anything that Simone puts out there.
6-1-1. Second server. 6-1-2.
Just misses that. I don't know how she hit that long into the wind like that, but she does. Does Jardim, and it's a side out.
1-6-1.
Let's see if Barr and Gridley stay with Gridley on the left. They do.
Second server. One, 6-2.
Great recognition right there again. Seeing that that ball is going to go long. Even when Johnson gets himself in trouble, he gets himself out of it. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That ball
Quite a
was,
curve.
That ball
was
was
a curve ball.
3-4 feet in when knocked it out.
6-1-2.
Good job by Gridley controlling the kitchen line there and pulling Jardim left and right. Finally getting an opening for the put away, but they need to get some points on the board here now.
1-6-1.
Because every time serve comes back over, Johnson and Jardim are getting on the board. Good counter from Gridley, and they get off of one.
Good hands from both Barr and Gridley on that exchange.
2-6-1.
Gridley there in the middle, good positioning.
2-6-2. Side out.
Again, Gridley reads it right, just he's got to take another full step to the right to get that. He's reaching too much, gets that off the edge of the paddle.
Jardim doing a good job of trying to keep it out of his reach. And we're going to have a timeout with
Timeout, receiving team.
Gridley sending that well wide on the attempted put away.
Yeah, Jardim Johnson in control, up 7-2 here. Four
What's
points
the answer?
away.
What's the answer for Gridley and Barr?
Well, they're not keeping Johnson honest, and what I mean by that is not going behind him at all. It's just straight to Jardim every single time is what Barr's doing. You can flip behind J.W. Johnson, not try and hit a winner, but flip behind him and create some openings, right? So get something open on the side so that you get him out of the middle. If he is constantly in the middle there like that, he's making his presence felt, he's just going to control. everything at that point. You got to keep him honest. Go behind him with a little dink. Make him dink it back. But let him know that you can go there. I'd like to see Susanna just do that 1 or 2 times.
I love we have so many people up in the high part of the stands in the shade to the left of us. I just heard a "Let's go Gridley" from way up in the stands.
Oh, what hands from Johnson. He just smiles and says sorry because he didn't even think he was going to get that block.
Oh, Jardim is there.
Oh, feeling good is Simone Jardim right now. Moving like a cat all over the court.
9-2-1.
That one, the win, gives her a little assist.
And just too good on the angle. And a match point coming up here for Jardim and Johnson. 10-2.
Someone
That's what he
gave
did last
JW
time.
Johnson
10-2-2.
something. He's being all over dramatic out there. I love it.
Barr trying to
leaves
go
it.
back door.
But the wind, I think, also holds that ball up a little bit.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The mixed
Just
doubles
got
champions.
too much on it. A big congrats to our silver medalists, Susanna Barr and Austin Gridley, fighting their way back up into this gold medal match. Simone Jardim and JW Johnson, though, are gold medalists here in mixed pro doubles. JW Johnson, 2 out of 3 happening right now. Can he get a triple crown in our men's pro doubles gold medal match, which is coming up next? JW Johnson and Dylan Frazier take on Deckel, Barr, and Adam Stone for our final gold medal match here of our championship Sunday. We head to the Franklin studio after this. Don't go anywhere. One final match remains after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Franklin studio. Lauren McLaughlin here with gold medalists JW Johnson and Simone Jardim. Simone, we'll start with you. This is your farewell tour year. Still racking up those gold medals. I know you're very excited to spend time with family, but of course you have your foundation. You're teaching a lot of the youth coming into the sport. You're playing with some of them here in JW Johnson, also Dylan Frazier. How excited are you just for the sport of pickleball and being able to kind of train and bring up this next generation?
I mean, honestly, like, I am super excited. The other day, I got very lucky and I got to spend a little time with Gabe, and I want to do more of that. That's really my thing. I want to spend some time. I hope that I can spend some time with JW and his sister. For me, is what keeps me young, because again, like I'm not going away from pickleball completely. I'm gonna stay with it as much as I can, and I just love being around them. They keep me young, so that's good.
Simone obviously has to be one of your pickleball heroes. I'm sure you had her poster on your bedroom wall as you were getting into pickleball. No, he looks up, he's like, I want to be Simone one day. Is that true?
Lauren, I think he still remember the first time he tried to play singles pickleball at Veterans Park, because I remember.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I kind of do remember that. That was a painful few minutes I had there.
Do you want to break down a little bit more of what happened, Simone? Now she'll.
I think that's the memory that I'll hold forever. because again, you know, this kid, he's like, oh, tennis player, pickleball is so easy. I was like, okay, sure. All right, let's hit some. And then he's like, right away, he's like, let's play some singles. And I was like, okay, sure.
All right, so she's your first foray into singles was with Simone.
You and Abby Brooks. I play with both of y'all, but definitely I pretty much got destroyed. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was 11-0 in like 2 minutes. So. Yeah.
Well, look how far you've come. Yeah. Simone taught you everything you know, is what I heard.
Now I think I'll let him beat me up and get 11-0 in probably 2 seconds.
All right, 2 out of 3 gold medals in the bag. Playing Dylan Frazier. Next for men's. Got anything left in the tank to bring home the Triple Crown?
Well, yeah, I mean, always for Dylan. So there we go.
Dylan's gonna put you on his back and carry you.
I think it's the other way around because he's an old man now, so he has to do that. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see you next in our men's pro doubles gold medal match. That's coming up. Congrats, guys. I know, he's so funny. Don't go anywhere. One final gold medal match remains here on Championship Sunday. That's coming up right after this.